As a Tottenham fan, one of the things that you constantly have to put up with is being goaded by fans of rival clubs, of being a trophy dodging club, a club that's not interested in winning anything and never will win anything, empty trophy cabinet, all of that. And that comes from fans from all sorts of clubs, including clubs that have had like literally no success, or clubs that perhaps haven't even had any kind of success from, say, I don't know, 1980 as a throwaway year. But when you look at the performance of last night and the situation last night, you have to say, do we even want to win a trophy? Does the club actually want to win anything in terms of domestic cups? And the answer to that's got to be no, because, okay, on the face of it, the team that was put out last night should have had enough in their locker to be able to beat a team from the Championship. You can't argue that. We should have had the quality in there that would beat that team. However, you can't make wholesale changes like that and expect those players from the second string, if you like, or new players coming in or players coming back from injury to just click and for it to be really good and for them to perform in the way that you want them to perform. In my mind, I've always said, go out to win and then make the changes when you're winning. So you have your strongest lineup going out there. Now, I know that people are going to be shouting out, it's a squad game, there's lots of games to play, you can't play the same players every day or every game and all the rest of it. But this is our biggest opportunity to create some glory for this club who's been starved of glory for so long. But we don't, because we've got one eye on getting into the next round of the Champions League and one eye on staying in the top four so we can get into the competition of the Champions League for another season, which we probably won't win. So the money may well be in the Champions League. It may well be great for the owners that we keep playing in that competition, and apparently it attracts the best players and apparently it provides success and a launch pad and so on. But that's not why I'm in it as a fan. I'm in it to see us win and to see us win cups. So last season, okay, let's go back a little bit. At one of the press conferences, just literally a week or so ago, Stellini said, last season we were out of the Champions League and we were out of the FA Cup, and that allowed us to focus on achieving top four. Well, pretty soon, mate, we're going to be in the same position, because now we're out of the FA Cup and we're trailing in the Champions League. So actually you might have the opportunity to concentrate on top four again. Woohoo! What a great trophy that is, to be in the Champions League again and do nothing in it again. So if we think that we've got more chance of winning the Champions League than we have winning the FA Cup, then we're sadly mistaken. The teams that are left in the FA Cup, Man City, Man United, Brighton and Fulham, are the biggest rivals that you have to face in that competition. Now, I'm not saying that we would beat any of those teams or should beat any of those teams, or even the ones that are left, Blackburn, Grimsby, I can't remember. Anyway, so my point is this was a real good opportunity for us to get closer to a trophy than the Champions League is. But we pay absolute disrespect by going, well, we'll just put out these players, they're good enough, they should beat them. Well, they didn't. And the reality of that is Sheffield United were really good. They worked really hard, defensively solid. They had a plan, they had aggression, they had desire, and they wanted to win the game. And then our defence just stands there and lets this substitute come on and tippy-tappy through the defence and pop it next to Foster's near side, and all he had to do was stick his foot out. Right? So it was a pathetic performance. Now, I'm not saying this is all down to Stellini and the players he picked, because individually they should have beaten. But if your players are coming on and they've got no desire to win, and they're no interest in winning, and they know that the club and the leadership of that club are not really bothered about the FA Cup, then why would they bother? Richarlison, who I really like, and I thought over the last few games has started to show what he's about, putting in that aggression and really kind of coming out, just needs a goal, was awful last night. He was absolutely awful, disinterested. Son is still not anywhere near where he needs to be. Porro, after all the fans calling for this guy, we desperately need him, bring him in, he's brilliant, he's the answer. What's that all about? I honestly can't see anything special. I don't see that his performance was particularly good, or he showed any kind of glimpses of what he can do. Now, it's early days, I get that, and I'm not trying to crucify the guy, because he's literally just joined the club and he may well go on to be our best ever right back. But I didn't see that last night. He tried, he huffed and he puffed, but there was pretty much nothing of it. Perisic, this guy who's won everything and has got all that experience, was terrible last night. Now, whether that was because he took a really heavy knock and that, you know, shook him, I don't know. But he was awful last night. The lack of crossing into the box astounds me when you're playing with wing backs. Nothing's going in there. There's no creativity in the team coming from anywhere else anyway. So you've got absolutely no creativity coming through the middle, and your wing backs who are supposed to cross it ain't crossing it. So where's that attacking coming from? Where's that win gonna come from? I'm just lost. I'm just lost with it. You know, Mora just coming back from injury, who I thought didn't do too bad last night, because he's direct and because he runs at players and so on. But as someone pointed out to me in our WhatsApp group last night, he's running around like an headless chicken. He's got his head down. He's not looking up for anybody. He's not actually creating anything. He's running direct and putting them under pressure, but there's no end product coming from that. Now, that may well be for the fact that he's been injured, he's been out or whatever, but in my mind, he's always kind of been a bit like that. You know, he's never really, and unless he can finish it, his runs are pretty wasteful. And then you got to look at your defensive lineup. You know, Dyer, I didn't think did too bad, to be fair, so I'm not going to slate him. But Sanchez is just, he's lost. I think his confidence in his game must be shot to pieces, because he doesn't play for weeks on end. And then when he goes in, he gets rinsed and it just gets worse for him. And he just doesn't seem to have ever clicked into the player that we was expecting him to be. And for me, and for a lot of Tottenham fans, it's almost, that's the end. We need to move the guy on, because it's just never going to happen for him. Now, I'm sure he'll go on to another team and he'll be absolutely brilliant and he'll do well and he'll win some trophy in the back of beyond, like we keep getting told, you know, so-and-so won the Mexican Cup. Wow, who cares? And I'm sure he'll go on and I'm sure he'll do good things and I'm sure he's a great guy. But at Tottenham, it's not working. It's not happening. And it doesn't matter how many times we put him in there, he just gets rinsed all the time, and he's getting rinsed by Sheffield United players from the Championship. I mean, he was falling over, giving away free kicks. It was just a really, really poor performance. So, you know, in my mind, Perisic wasn't working. What we should have done is we should have perhaps brought Romero in and moved Davis out to wing back, because I think he did a better job. He's been doing a better job there than certainly Perisic has been doing, and certainly he was doing in that game. So that, I mean, for me, you know, I could go on and on and on and moan and moan and moan, But this is the reality of Tottenham at the moment. Our owners are not interested in success in the same way that we are. They gauge success by balancing the books and creating money. And everyone's shouting out that this new strategic plan with F1 is so good, it's going to bring loads of money in and all the rest of it. Great. But if all that's going to do is going to leave his pockets as another £500,000 a year pay rise, who cares? Great. You can go to London and you can go on this track under the stadium. What a great experience that is for a tourist. Great. Fine. I've got no problem with it. I'm not knocking it. I think, you know, rugby at the stadium, NFL at the stadium, concerts at the stadium, it's all great stuff, you know, outside of being a football fan. So if you're just average Joe tourist, great. Come to London, come to this stadium, look at all the different things you can do. But if you're a fan of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, what you want to see is success for your football club. And all the talk of, yeah, that money's all going into the team, well, it don't feel like it, Daniel, my son. It don't feel like it's going into the team. It doesn't feel like we're getting progression. It feels like it's just building up your portfolio so you can open another art gallery, or you can buy another building, or you can build a hotel, or whatever you want to do with it. But that's not what I'm there for. I'm a Tottenham Hotspur football fan. I'm interested in Tottenham Hotspur men's football team. That's what I'm about. And that's what the majority of us are about. All the other stuff is just fluff around the edge. I want to win a trophy. I want the glory. I loved, as a young man, and I had black hair at the time, standing on the high road, watching the bus parade come down, showing a trophy. I enjoyed watching, you know, our captain lift a cup at Wembley. Those are days that I'll never forget. But our fans are going through a situation where they've never seen it. And at this rate, are never likely to see it. Because that, I've got to be honest, was an absolute terrible performance. The team put out was wrong. We took absolutely no desire to win that game, and we just drifted out of it, drifted out of the competition, and by next weekend we could be out of the Champions League and just focusing on trying to get ourselves back into the top four again, to do this same old cycle of playing the bigger teams, getting that money in, lining someone's pockets, and we as fans get nothing. All those fans that travelled up there last night were fantastic. You could hear them the whole time on the TV. They sang and they sang and they sang and they supported all the way through. And what did they get? An absolute waste of a performance. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I don't want to sit and watch videos of Harry Kane and Stellini and Son and Skip and whoever else churn out the same old clickbait rehearsed answers of, yeah, we wasn't good enough today, we go stronger, we come on to the next game, there's still lots to play. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear all that from you guys, to be honest with you, because it's meaningless, churned out rubbish again and again and again. But anyway, I'm still going to support the team. I'm still going to want to go to games. I still want us to do well. I'll still be a deluded Tottenham fan, as always. So I'll leave it there, and I'll leave it up to you. Don't forget, you've got to subscribe. You've got to hit a thumbs up, because all that helps the algorithm, and I might actually get to 1,300 subscribers. Never know. Onwards and upwards. Up the Spurs.